So with the digital age, you talking into a microphone is cheaper than ever, aka being a voice actor. Now we got this thing called the internet, and it's created a profession within a profession, online voice acting, which is way more appealing to certain people because you can do it in the privacy of your own home. The drawback to this cool option allowing you to be part of cartoons, video games, and even audiobooks and fan dubs is nobody knows what the hell they're doing. As someone who tries to make their content sound professional instead of prosumer, this is really noticeable. Rather than explaining this 400 times to 200 people because no one listens the first time, I thought I'd make a one-stop spot of a video on the yeses and nos of how it goes. I'm really cool, and this is how to be an online voice actor. If you're into voice acting as a fun hobby and don't actually want to be good, leave. Because no one's got time for your ass. For the most part, this guide's kind of mathematical, as in you won't need the whys as long as you got the whats. And some of what's said here could apply to just about any field involving audio. Simply put, the many things expected of an online voice actor that's you falls under three main categories: talent, equipment, and availability. Showing weakness in any of these can manifest itself in you not getting paid. While payment's the ultimate goal, keep in mind that when starting out, every free hour you put in is one paid minute. With most jobs, you work for pay. In this profession, you work for work that pays. I didn't make the rules, I'm just being real. Talent requires an ability to emote and take direction, equipment's gonna need some cash, and availability's just plain work ethic. Fall short in any of these and you'll be replaceable. Stepping into the first subject, what is talent when it comes to voiceovers? Number one, beyond anything, is the ability to emote. If the line's angry, be angry. Don't lose the emotion halfway through and sound annoyed. If the director wants a scream, you better scream or it'll be, "Oh my God!" instead of, "Oh my God!" Yeah, make sure you have a full breath before every take or you'll inhale when you're not supposed to and kill the line flow. It's important to know these things before getting cast by a director that'll actually direct you, instead of emailing the lines expecting a file back next Wednesday. Speaking of that, I should break down what you gotta do for the average online recording session. Usually you'll receive a script or list of your lines. Then enter a call via Skype, Mumble, Google Hangouts, probably Skype, and the director will go over the scenario, what characters you're doing, stuff like that. Once he or she says it's time to record, you start rolling sound and don't stop until every line is done. You let it roll for two main reasons. One, if you get a line right but forgot to record, guess who screwed up? Two, voice work can be pretty hard, so don't make it harder by stopping the reel every 5 seconds to cut bad takes. Chances are the director's got the means to take care of that. You do a line, see if the director likes it, and if not, they'll direct you to the right delivery. Some of you might be used to doing it the wrong way and get shy from someone hearing you act, and the most logical way I could put it is, would you rather embarrass yourself in front of one person or 1,000 people? At least the first one might know how to fix it. Once every line is done, you stop the recording and send every take to the director as a WAV file unless instructed to do otherwise. Process might seem controlling, but if we didn't have voice directors in the professional world, nothing would sound good. Not every content creator you run into is gonna do stuff like this, but expecting it every time won't set you up for any surprises. There's people that aim for good enough and others that aim for greatness. Good enough ain't good enough. You might be wondering why I'm not getting into silly voices, and that's because it's called voice acting, not doing voices. Changing your voice is a nice ability to have in your acting arsenal, but don't think it's gonna make you a big deal. And if you're making a demo reel, for the love of God, don't include your Lilo and Stitch impressions. Cool, dude. Also, make sure you know how to pronounce words.
Nice shot, Cobe.
I like to give a shout out to Purple Warrior 13, sweet name. End of the day, if all you got is silly voices, take some acting classes, try improv, start a Ponzi scheme, do something beyond talking in front of a microphone. If you want to learn from the best, don't watch anime in any language. I say that because a lot of people getting into this want to be dubbing actors one day. I'm sure the people at Funimation or 4Kids are great actors, but whatever talent they have is getting bottlenecked for matching their speech patterns to cartoon lips on the LCD. Study some screen actors and put the anime away. It'll make your go-to inflections sound real. Practice is only making perfect if you got a foundation to practice on. Knowing and applying all of that makes you a valuable talent to any production. So you got the right idea with a talented brain people would pay for. That talent ain't doing much unless you spend money to make money. Here's where equipment comes in. If you already started investing with little to no education, you probably bought a Samson CO1U, Blue Snowball, CAD U37, or the ever-popular Blue Yeti. I'm here to tell you the Blue Yeti is a $100 stainless steel toy. Everything good you heard about it, forget it. They're lies born from hobbyists with no concept of quality. This is a craft in which you perform with nothing but your voice. So getting a USB microphone with no preamp, poor gain control, and a terrible stand design ain't gonna cut it if you were looking to have a shred of professionalism. This goes for all USB mics, not just the Yeti.
Oh, but what about
all USB mics? If you can't take my word for it, look up a video showing professional talent at the studio in action and tell me how many Blue Yetis you see. Here's a test you could do at home. Take your professional quality USB sound system and compare the recordings with an actual microphone.
I'm Joe, and this
the Sun B-52s are my favorite band.
I'm Joe, and the Sun B-52s are my favorite band.
So now that we've established all headset, USB, and Radio Shack mics are far from competent, here's what you gotta know. There's 4 main components to your basic online recording setup: computer, audio interface, microphone, and the room around you. The thing everyone double takes on is the audio interface. What is it? Put very simply, a box that you plug your microphones into on one end and connect to your computer on the other. This box receives the audio waves from the microphone and converts it into digital information or samples. Because the interface has a dedicated analog to digital converter, any sound going through it will be of a much higher quality than anything a computer sound card is capable of. It features a gain knob that you turn up when you're quiet and turn down when you're loud. Follow that rule and never peak. Let me show you what peaking sounds like. And then he turns the gain down. You want to send your recordings with as little post-processing as possible. That means no noise gates, no EQ filters, and no compressors. That part's for the sound mixer. If you want to add effects yourself, understand what each of these filters do before you go dragging sliders. How much is an interface and where can I find one? Sweet question. An entry-level audio interface could run anywhere from $1 to $300 US. That's why you find one on eBay, so they're only running from $50 to $150. Every price I say is going to be based on eBay's current rates, because when you're starting out, new purchases aren't too economic. Some good beginner interfaces would be the Presonus Audiobox or the Art USB Dual Pre. If you're real iffy on stepping into the whole interface thing, I recommend the Line 6 UX2. The newer actors I've worked with found this one to be easier because of its Pod Farm software. Pod Farm is a very simple program that allows you to change most input settings with a click and drag interface. It also has cool effects you can play with, making audio fun, but keep those down to a minimum if you want your line sounding clean. That weird looking port on the interface is an XLR input. You'll need one male to female XLR cord to connect your XLR compatible microphone. Just about every pro mic uses that input, so don't sweat the compatibility too much. Good entry-level mics would be the Audio-Technica 2020, MXL 990, or the Rode NT1A. Whatever XLR mic you end up using, check to see if it needs phantom power, which is something condenser microphones like the 3 I mentioned require to work. If it does need phantom power, make sure your interface comes with it, or you'll have to get an adapter. You'll also need a stand for your mic, which is about 25 bucks. Altogether, the whole setup could cost anywhere from $180 to $350. If those numbers scare you, you should either learn to save money or put it on your Christmas list. So you got your PC with all the essential software and drivers installed. From the USB port, it's connected to your new audio interface with a gain knob at a reasonable place to prevent peaking. Plugged into the front is your XLR microphone being held up with either a desk or boom stand. No, you don't need a pop filter, just talk at the mic slightly off axis so your P's and T's don't hit the grill. If you got barely any knowledge on audio post-production, just use a free software like Audacity to record lines. Now, all your hardware is up and running, but it won't sound good if you forget the fourth component, the room around you, your recording environment. If your microphone's in the proximity of an AC unit, heating vent, fan, noisy computer fan, TV in the background, people talking in the other room, or construction outside, take care of it. If your room's echoey, your recordings will make you sound like you're in a bathroom. You can solve this by putting things up against the walls that absorb sound. This could either be full bookshelves, air mattresses, thick curtains, comforters, or foam mattress covers. You can get the last one at Walmart for 15 bucks a pop and tack them on the wall. A prime place to put them would be in the ceiling corners, because that's where a lot of echoes get trapped and multiply. Having carpet really helps too. If you don't have the means for any of that, get under a blanket with your mic and start rolling. You look stupid, but sound good. Blue Yetis are for fun. This is for payment. If you've received payment in the past using a USB microphone, then congratulations, you found a director with no standard for quality. You're a talented actor with the equipment to show it. Now it's time to find roles. This brings us to our third category, availability. The more you work in entertainment, sayings like the best ability is availability become more and more true. Concept of showing up might sound easy, but there's plenty of talented people out there with spotty work ethic who miss out on opportunities. If you don't show up for a role, someone else has taken that piece to their portfolio. When representing yourself as an online vocal talent, you're more than a person, you're a business. If you can't stay competitive in a collaborative fashion, then showbiz isn't for you. If a director who makes good content or has education to offer says, "Hey, I'm in a pinch, could you do this role today?" You say yes every single time unless you have previous commitments to get to. And even then, if you're good at what you do, it won't even take an hour. Believe it or not, putting others before yourself gives you an insane amount of future leverage. By the way, being tired or wanting to play video games is an excuse for losers. If there's payment involved, putting in the time should be a no-brainer, but unreliable people don't get paid. Again, regular jobs mean work for pay. Voice acting jobs mean work for work that pays. Now, if you become a recognizable talent with big projects under your belt, that rule won't really apply to you. But being in a position like that is the ultimate goal, and if you're starting now, that's gonna be a while. So in the beginning stages of your voiceover adventure, try to say yes as much as possible. And if you really can't, remember that one no's worth more than 20 maybes. Also, if you give a date when you're showing up and proceed to not show up, realize you're losing pounds of credibility if you're working with someone new or making a habit out of it. End it of the day, the foundation of professionalism goes back to everything you learned in grade school, so don't have the mentality of a 3-year-old. Follow and excel in these 3 concepts and you'll nail auditions while gaining the respect of your clients. I've given you the knowledge to succeed, now get out there and apply it. And for the love of God, don't get a USB microphone.